Welcome back to First Take. Our next two guests are sitting here with us. They are the main event of the Bellator MMA's pay-per-view debut on Saturday, November 2nd. It's Rampage Jackson, like you and A-Team, and Tito Ortiz. How are you? Welcome to the desk, gentlemen.
You know, they're all hospitable and pleasant with one another. They're getting ready to go into the ring and in the octagon against one another. I think that's what it was. That's what we like to call it when watching UFC, but this is Bellator now. It's the first pay-per-view. Talk to us about that. Y'all looking forward to this?
Really looking forward to it. It's just an opportunity to show that you don't have to be under one stable of a company to show how great fighters can compete against each other. And at Bellator, we're going to do this. And Rampage is one of the better guys. I'm one of the better guys, and we're going to compete.
You know, when everybody thinks about it, a lot of times when they think about it, it's good to see Bellator because when you think about the MMA fighting, you usually think UFC, but you guys are not a part of that anymore. Talk to us about why that is. Why are you guys not a part of the UFC any longer?
Well, without bashing on them too much, it's like Bellator just offered me a great deal, and they respect me. It's like I love the way the company treats me. They care more about my well-being than how much money I can make them. And fighters, you know, we're humans. You know, we just want to be treated like anybody want to be treated that works for a company.
Yeah, respect value is a huge thing, you know. And it's really just not strictly about UFC. People think of MMA and they think of, oh, UFC's. No, it's mixed martial arts. That's the competition. You know, you don't say the Patriots when you're talking about NFL. I mean, this is what it's about. I mean, MMA is the sport itself, and us fighters are the ones that get in the cage and we fight. Fans buy the pay-per-view to watch the best fighters fight against each other. And this card that'll be on November 2nd, it's a stacked card. There's champions versus champions. I think they have 3 championship fights on the card in general.
Right. I wonder, because I'm thinking about it along the lines of, are we sleeping on y'all a little bit? Because again, Bellator is up and coming, and you guys being in this position obviously does a lot for that organization. But a lot of times when you think MMA, at least over the last several years, you guys helped the UFC. When we thought MMA, we thought about the UFC.
This is the way they branded it. They put their brand out before the fighters, and like a lot of times you see a lot of UFC branding. You see a lot of UFC shirts. You see one of us in a commercial or something like that, and they'll make us wear a UFC shirt instead of wearing like our own shirt or any other type of shirt that we choose. You know, and that's the way they branded it. They like for the new fans to think that our sport is called UFC. People hit me up on Twitter or whatever and say, do you even train UFC? I'm like, no, nobody does. There's no way you can train UFC. It's not something that you can train.
Right.
So that's what people think the name of it.
So forgive me for asking a dumb question here, but you two are getting a little up there in age. Not that you're over the hill, but you got 38.
35 and 38.
Okay. Right. I'm 35.
I just turned 38.
Yep. Why in UFC didn't you ever fight each other? Why is this a first time?
Well, you know, really came down to we were training partners. We trained with each other for almost 9 years. He went in Pride and he would demolish people. I was in UFC and I was a champion. I ran as champion for a long time, and then came to a part where he came over to UFC, and, you know, contract-wise, I helped him out a little bit, and it's business. He got kids, I got kids. Every one of us, we work hard. And in UFC, if we're gonna fight for a title, we would have fought against each other. And now it's just an opportunity in Bellator that it's business. And we're not getting any younger. Fans want to see a great fight. Rampage swings for the fences. He looks for knockouts. I look to put damage and put an exciting fight on each and every time I fight. Win, lose, or draw, I'm putting an exciting fight, and I've never let a fan down. And that's what we're going to do on November 2nd.
Last question. I mean, obviously, this is a big deal for Bellator because obviously, you know, the names that you guys, the name recognition that you guys bring to the sport, that's going to help it immensely. But I look along the lines of, all right, how much of a chance do you think this has of being as big as the UFC, if not bigger, considering what a job Dana White has done in terms of promoting the UFC, even though I see a lot of fighters seem to be having a problem with him these days, and that's something I'm going to talk to him about. But do you feel like, yeah, I do need to talk to Dana White about that. I like Dana White a lot, but a lot of these fighters, I'm not fighting for him. You guys were, and a lot of people have been complaining about him. He does need to answer those questions. But I ask you guys, do you think you have a shot of being just as big, if not bigger than the UFC, considering the promotional arm that UFC has?
I wouldn't really say it'd be bigger than them. I think it's just the fighters that fight in UFC. They'll see how we're being treated, and maybe they want to be treated the same way. We want to be respected. We want to be put on a pedestal because we go out there and we put our lives on the lines. We literally put our lives on the lines, not only in fighting, but in training.
Yeah, we don't be told, like, oh, you can't go and do movies, or you can't have this sponsor. You can't do this and you can't do that. Like,
You want some freedom. You want to be respected, like you said before.
and-
November 2nd, the debut of Bellator's pay-per-view event with you two on the main card. Thank you so much.
Who's winning?
Yes, Rampage
I am.
Jackson, Tito Ortiz.
Yes.
I'm winning.
You guys are both winning?
Yeah,
no,
I'm winning.
there's no way he gonna win.
We already have a bet, so
Okay, so
the
who gets the
loser got to do the twerk. So
Okay,
we
got to do the twerk.
You have to do it. So
Yeah, you gotta put it out there.
Speaking of doing the twerk, Tiger kind of looked like he was doing the twerk when he collapsed on the green.